Hans, welcome to the Impact Revolution channel. Thank you so much for making time for us. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Can't complain for a Thursday.
That's great. That's great. Hans, as discussed, I would like to ask you a couple of personal questions so the audience knows you a bit better, and then later we can go to the more interview-related professional questions. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Cool. So, since I know that you love to travel and you like to see the world, if you could wake up anywhere in the world tomorrow, Ange, what it would be and why?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, a lot of people these days ask this question. Like, if you have to
Uh-huh.
travel, what will be the place to travel the most? So, I mean,
Mm.
again, again, my answer still remains the same. I mean, it's Mediterranean is my place to be. I mean, the water is amazing.
Where?
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean?
Yes. So
Ah.
either it's be Balearic, Mediterranean, or
Uh,
any other islands of either it's on the coast of France, Spain,
all right,
uh,
cool.
and Italy or whatnot. But again, overall the whole world is very beautiful to see and
Uh,
explore.
uh-huh.
But definitely, if somebody asks me, then I think the Mediterranean is my answer.
All right, cool. That's that. I love that. My mother and my parents have a house there in La Muñeca. It's close to Malaga. I don't know, so you're more than
Nice.
welcome to come anytime. All right. Now the second question I would like to ask you is, if I ask you what was your happiest moment, Ange, what is the first memory that comes to your mind?
Happiest moment of life, personally or
Personally,
professionally?
personally, personally, yeah.
Personally. See, I'm that kind of guy. Like, I mean, who's for every day is fun and you love it every day waking up. But again, I mean, for me, it's like anywhere close to the sea or the ocean,
Okay.
right?
All
Close to
right.
the water, I'm a happy person. Sea
Okay.
and sun, I need just two things.
That's really cool. All right, thank you so much. I see that you are a venture capitalist, right, Ange? And you found different startups. And I was wondering, what actually do you do in order to select these startups?
I mean, selecting a startup, I mean, again, I mean, being an investor, like, first of all, like, I mean, you have to align or be an expert of the area that you're trying to invest in, right? You have to have some kind of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
not only just background knowledge or superficial knowledge, but also
Sure.
in depth, right? From
Mm-hmm.
the industry perspective, and you have to define your mandate and where you want to invest in, right? So that's the first step in understanding, okay, well, where you want to invest, right? And then on what you want to invest, right? On what type of companies. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the second piece of it. I mean, you listen to different startups or founders, like in
Mm-hmm.
terms of their product journey. How are they trying to monetize this? How are they trying to scale it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Very rudimentary perspective. I mean, things to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think once you kind of tally all the merits against all the parameters that you have set
Mm-hmm.
of your assessment, then based on that, I mean, again, I'm summarizing this a lot.
Sure, sure, sure. I know there is a lot of work on it, right?
I mean, there are
Mm.
different due diligence aspects to it.
Uh-huh.
But again, yeah, high level, I think first thing is the mandate is important, where you want to invest, and then what you want to invest, your target companies or founders. Then you
Uh-huh.
hear them out, then you do some due diligence, and then once you think it's promising, then you kind of go ahead and write some checks. But
Okay.
the way we are doing slightly different is like we are not only just writing checks, but also wanted to be involved, right? Involved
Uh-huh.
in making sure that they become successful, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And
Cool.
to be honest, I mean, we are having a hard time lately in the market in terms of
I imagine.
raising and everything. The market is very tough, and we are undergoing through a recession. I mean,
Mm.
And yeah, so economy is kind of worrisome, but I think things will get better. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think that's our idea and focus when
Okay.
we talk about investing.
All right, very cool. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Very useful, Ansh. I was thinking, in your experience, okay, Ansh, uh, after investing in several startups, and maybe you don't have, well, there are some that maybe still has some time to become successful, right? Because there is no an overnight success. But I mean, is there any successful factors that you could may have identified from all the previous or all startups, all the previous ones that you say, okay, these ones are going to be successful, and then later they have found to be successful, and maybe others not, and also why that could have happened? Did you do that kind of analysis, and is there any main lessons learned that you could share with us, Ange?
Yeah, less good question, Yoshi.
Thank
I
you.
think from lesson learned perspective, I mean, again, a lot of investors will tell you some of the similar things as I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
The, see, I mean, horse in the jockey analogy is perfect way to put it, right? And
Mm-hmm.
uh, horse in the jockey means who is the horse? Basically, the horse is the product or the company, right? And the jockey is the who is running the show, right? Is CEO,
Mm-hmm.
you're the founder. So
Mm-hmm.
again, those both things are very critical. I mean, and then the what problem they are solving towards, right? Those three things kind of covers the main crux of this investing and understanding. Okay, how successful the startup will be.
All right, cool. All right, very interesting. I like about this CEO about and the management, right, and how the leadership is. What did you find that are the key attributes or character traits or whatever you want to call it that the best leadership you have found or you have met have in common?
You mean common traits or a successful traits of a successful CEO, right?
Yeah, successful traits of a successful CEO. That's right. Hmm.
Yeah, so I think again, first objective. I mean, have a solid objective.
Hmm.
Uh, have a temperament to work towards that objective without any issues. I mean, issues. I mean, not getting deviated from the main objective, which is trying to make this successful, and
Hmm.
understand right where you need help. You need to understand. So one of the startups or many of the startups when we work with, sometimes CEOs are so kind of like in love with their idea that they don't want to listen to anyone else, right? So again,
Okay.
pivoting to new ideas, not total new ideas, but pivoting to the best strategies when
Hmm.
you are trying to run a business and trying to get the funding for, like example, pre-seed, seed funding when you are just starting off. So so CEOs have to be very uh, contented in terms of like what they are looking for. Have to have some patience and ready to learn, right? I mean, you're
Hmm.
starting off journey at this point. You haven't raised money, and eventually you will raise money. I mean, in this journey, but you have to be patient all across. And communication is always a key for different businesses as well, and even for the
Hmm.
founders. Communication, understanding, and compassion of those things is
Hmm.
very important because I think impatience and aggressiveness sometimes lead you in difficult situations.
All
So
right,
it's
cool.
a long journey. So be patient, take your time, don't rush,
Hmm.
and make the best decision depending on the situation you are in.
That's really cool. Yeah, I heard this thing before, like don't feel in love with the product, like there is has to be a balance, right, between persistence and pivoting, right, and pivot from different ideas, and yeah, I guess to be flexible and to adapt to the market needs, customer desires, right? All right, cool. Thank you so much, Hans. I'm really liking this. What are the main lessons learned that you could may share with us that could be useful for startups and entrepreneurs that comes to your mind? You know?
I mean, in terms of like my suggestions to recent founders or startups is looking at the market. This is not the right time to raise money.
Okay,
So,
cool. Is
uh,
the reality? Is the reality? It's okay.
so yeah, current market it's tough, and even not only just an idea from the idea perspective, but even to scale the teams, scale the concept is very tough, right? Finding
Mm,
the right partners because market is very uh, kind of fluid, right? In terms of economics, in terms of people are more scared than last year.
mm,
But I think, as you know, we are coming out of COVID, so people were already in a lot of mental stress and pressure, and
mm,
after that, the economics start to get hurt. So again, pandemic followed by economic uh, and some wars that are going across the world, right? You might
mm.
have heard about Ukrainian and Russian war. So
Yeah,
it's,
of
it's
course.
a time where every single thing is pretty sensitive at this point. So some startups like who are having promising ideas, I would suggest to them be patient, just keep going at it, right? She's just keep going at it and wait. I think your time will come to get funded. Things starting
Yeah.
next year, things will get better.
Yeah, it is a very VUCA environment right now, right? Like very uncertain. And we don't know what is going to happen. Now with AI and all that stuff, things are completely out of, of our understanding of our forecast, right? We can, it's harder to forecast anything, I think, right now. What is your view with AI? What do you think is going to be the impact to the startup community and the venture capitalists as well, right?
AI is definitely going to stay. It's not.
Sure.
Uh, a lot of. Again, discussions are happening, right? On how good is the AI? Is AI going to help us more, or going to be not be too much of help in
Mm,
terms of our advancement, right?
mm,
So to that, I want to just say that everything that is upcoming, including AI, right? It's just we have to keep a good check on it, right? I recently wrote about this on regulating AI. I think
mm,
regulation is a good step forward. The thing is, different governments, right? The reason why we have governments in every country is to keep some regulations in place, right? A lot of
mm,
and people have different views on regulations. Some people don't like regulations. Some people like regulations, but
mm.
regulations are usually uh, government mechanism to protect people, right? Not
Yeah.
corporations against people, right?
Uh,
So corporations make money, irrespective of what they do. But again, protecting people is the premise of the government. So I think from that perspective, you can use AI for many different things. But again,
mm,
AI is the first thing that human beings are seeing when
mm,
you see that you are giving the power away from humans, right?
mm,
uh, I see that way, right? If AI tomorrow can become that smarter that he doesn't need me,
mm.
then humans are obsolete. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So till now, whatever technology advancements we have made is always humans were in control of that,
Mm.
right? With AI, I'm not sure. If humans can keep a good tap on it, then or control on
I
it,
don't know.
good.
Mm.
But you cannot let it loose. Otherwise, then AI can get much more smarter. Then they might think that why do we need humans?
Yeah, I wrote an article today. I don't know if you read it, but it was about that. Especially, it's like, what is the purpose of still producing if the AI will be better doing analysis and getting data, even managing people. There was some reports that they were saying that chat boss, they were better and have more empathy than actual doctors. So people like them more. So leadership capabilities and all this humanization is something that soft skills, are going to be on demand now, I think, in this respect. Mm. Cool. Thank you, Ans. I had a question. Yes. So, what are the challenges that you are maybe facing right now in terms of, startups and entrepreneurs that you have?
So, I mean, challenges, nothing as such except the market and whatnot.
Mm,
If you think fundraising is mostly going towards emerging markets, right?
mm-hmm,
Even though the fund might be getting raised here, but folks are mostly investing in emerging markets. So
mm,
that's not a challenge to me, but it's kind of something to look at, right? Because when you are in a certain geography and if you have to move your money across countries, for an investor, that's a challenge. As an investor,
mm,
I'm talking about, right? Like what
sure.
challenges I think of. And
Yeah.
again, uh, and again, so manageability, visibility of those kind of funds get tougher when you are
Mm,
deploying money across countries, and even like maybe you are launching a fund in Europe and investing in Europe, right? But all those things get geographically challenged if you are in a one part of the world. So that's
sure.
one thing I see, one of the challenges that and all these developed nation and like for example, North American region is North America is always filled with ideas, right? There are people, there are entrepreneurs. It's a perfectly fertile ground, right? But this ground has to get saturated to a point, right? So
Mm,
I see that North American market will get saturated with ideas and opportunities, and now you will see a shift towards more Asia, Latam, like Latin,
mm,
right?
yeah, yeah. Brazil, Colombia, and all these places are coming up now, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So opportunities of investing in Latam, for example, European certain parts,
Mm,
Africa. Africa is becoming a huge market,
mm,
emerging market,
yeah,
and Asia, because there are
yeah.
a lot of people. If you see China and India, there are
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 billion people,
Yeah,
and
it's
if you
crazy.
have a solid product that is solving some problem, you have a customer base right there,
Yeah,
right? So
that's
you
right.
can
Yeah.
easily acquire customers, and I was talking with some of my Indian counterparts. They are
Mm-hmm.
already sitting on $1 million with their investment.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's very fun to see it. So yeah, I mean, there is that shift happening that money might go in emerging markets.
Yeah, I heard that India is going to be, or it could be the next China, in the coming years, in terms of investments, yeah, startups or whatever, as well.
Yeah.
That's really
Any
cool.
developing country is
Eh,
developing, right? And they need solutions.
mm,
So they can, right? Brazil is one of them that can
Brazil also has
become
a
next.
lot of potential. Yeah,
Yeah,
has a lot of
Brazil,
potential.
Argentina can become next China or India too.
Uh-huh. All right, cool. And you also talk, Ansh, about securing the startups or investments that you do, right? In the startups, uh, making sure or trying to making sure that they are successful, right? I was wondering, Ansh, how do you do that exactly?
So I mean, again, it depends on like what kind of help the startup needs. But again,
Mm-hmm.
we had supported startups who needed very heavy incubation pieces, right? Like incubation means their product market fit, market sizing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, uh, and of course the business modeling piece, the revenue modeling piece, all different kinds of models that they need, and of course the pitch deck presentations and readiness, all that stuff. So we have done some heavy hands-on work with this company, certain founders, to get them up and running from ground up. And for
Mm-hmm.
some we do very light weighted support, like for example pitch deck help, or some kind of financial modeling, business modeling. So
Mm-hmm.
depending on what they need, we try to support them, and we also track their journey, right? Tracking their journey means like what the founders are doing, And we had some couple of examples where we couldn't control certain things. Like one of the companies we were working with, uh, we had a
Yes.
challenging situation with the founder. So I mean,
Okay.
you have to mitigate those things by either communication, or sometimes you have to just drop the ball, I mean, with certain things. So I mean, a lot of people think, oh, venture capital is fun, angel investing is fun. But no, out of like 100%, out of 100%, 80% of investments go down the drain. 20% are
Yeah.
the ones that contribute and make you millionaire, right?
Yeah.
So not everything is going to be a winner. So,
Yeah, no, that's why I'm asking, because I know it's a high risk, let's say, investment procedure, or let's say choice, right? So it's interesting, it's very interesting, and it's important that also startups know about this, right? And also know that the support that you give can be very useful, right? In order to make them successful, and also collaborate. What did you find so far, Ansh, that has been the best practices that you could may provide to them in order to make them successful?
Coaching, I mean, guidance,
Coaching.
coaching, and of course,
Mm-hmm.
like hands-on, handheld approach. Those are
Mm-hmm.
the things which we see. And I mean, again, and I mean, there can be many elements to it, but I
Mm-hmm.
think personal coaching is something which we definitely wanted to do in terms of the founders and their team when
Mm-hmm.
they meet their investors and their, I mean, when they are scaling and having that growth journey. So coaching is a key element,
Mm-hmm.
and introduction to very VC ecosystem, angel ecosystem is also a plus for us if companies are part of our portfolio. Like we would like to open up a lot of doors for them, right? I mean, not
Uh-huh.
only just the money door or
Uh-huh.
I mean monetary doors.
What did you mean with the last point? Sorry, Ansh?
So I mean, not only just investing check, I mean, or writing checks.
Sure.
We just also expose them to different strategic advisors we have,
Ah, okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
our experience we have, our ecosystem that we carry, right? Ecosystem of investors, ecosystem of different founders, different experts that we have. So that also
Mm-hmm.
they can get to leverage.
Mm-hmm. All right, very cool. Interesting. I like that you say coaching and guidance. How that looks like exactly in any of the best examples that you can give us, Ansh?
Um, Best example, like for example, like I mean, if you're talking about temperament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certain, like okay, I'll take an example, right? I mean, one of the examples are when
Mm-hmm.
your portfolio companies are there. Like I mean, let me take this specific example where we
Yes, please.
supported. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, no, yes, please. Yeah, yeah. Specific examples are great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
specific examples like we were incubating a company, and then startup was fairly
Mm-hmm.
younger, 23 years old guy. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, like I mean, you just graduated, right? Almost
Mm-hmm.
graduated. There is no prior professional experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
for those people, rejection sometimes don't sit well, right? If for 23-year-old person, I mean, who just got out of school and has no experience in getting rejected and
Mm-hmm.
getting some feedback is sometimes tough. So for people with that kind of attitude, you have to coach them. Hey, rejections are all across the board, and all across your life you are not always going to win, right? You might
Mm-hmm.
get some feedback, and that feedback can be negative, can be positive, and that's I think what I think of myself too. I mean, the reason why I think where I am right now is I was open for criticism, either bad or
Mm-hmm.
good. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
know me personally,
Yeah.
and again, another thing on this I want to say is Einstein's quote, right? Albert Einstein's quote.
Uh-huh.
My dad was physicist, so I grew up in academic family. So my dad told me this quote of Einstein that
Cool.
knowledge is inversely proportional to ego. People who have
Mm,
high knowledge have minimum ego, and people who have highest egos these days are having or carrying the least knowledge. So that's
I
the,
love it.
I mean, saddest part of our age that we are living in,
Mm.
that people are easily, triggered by each and every aspect of life. So
That's a very good point. Yeah. You know, this fear of rejection is something I work a lot as well, because I think it's one of the main fears, in terms of the primitive mindset that, that we have inherited from the tribe mindset, that we cannot survive or we think we cannot survive if we get rejected, right? So I love that you share that story, and that quote from Einstein was powerful. Yeah. I totally agree. There is now with social media especially, right, it's easy to trigger this kind of unconscious reactions and polarization, right, that is now currently happening. Ans, we have 4 minutes left. I'm going to ask you after this question. I'm curious to know if you want to share something later. But now, I think we got to a nice point where I would like to ask you if you could share a whole message, a big message to the whole world, what it will be. And you can put like a big message in the whole. What will be? I'm curious.
right, we are concluding, right, Yoshi?
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
on the conclusion, I think, again, I'm not a big talker or not a big, like a philosophical guru or any kind of guru in terms of like giving advices, or not even a scholar that, I think I should give advices to every part of the world or everyone in the world.
Yeah.
But I would just, again, I can just share what I have experienced in life,
Mm,
and what have made me what I have I'm now, is
sure.
like, just be open to learn. Don't shy away in learning. There is a lot of information out
Mm-hmm.
there, and the second thing is, keep challenging yourself, right?
Mm,
Any situation, like, don't settle for something small or easy. You get one life, you have to fight with your best, right? And of
mm,
course, like, I'm not telling anybody to just be on the clock 24/7. Take rest, take vacations, have your own time as well, to tone it down a little bit, relax a bit. The third is, of course, like, health is the primary thing in the world.
mm,
If you are
mm.
not healthy, then you won't be successful by any means. So,
Definitely, yeah.
and just stay focused. And I think, just you have to love what you do, right?
Mm,
Otherwise you
yeah.
might not be happy in your life. So again, very basic ideas that I wanted to leave viewers here with,
Yeah.
that just keep exploring, keep learning, keep at it. Keep fighting. Take care of your health, mental health specifically these days, I think, after COVID.
It's very
uh,
important, right?
and also support the ecosystem. Finally, lastly, I should say,
Mm,
ecosystem
mm,
of people, because if you expand, connect with more people, you expand more. If you
mm.
remain in your own silo, then it's very hard to grow.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we grow and we'll go farther together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Hans. I love it. I really thought, I really feel and resonated all those advices that you gave at the end. And I don't know, there is only half minute left, so I don't know if there is anything else you would like to share,
No, I
Hans.
think everything is out there, Yoshi. I really love talking to you, and I think, and these forums have been very fruitful in the kind of expressing. As
Uh-huh.
as I have told, I'm not a big talker, but definitely
Uh-huh.
now and then is good.
Yes, thank you so much, and so it was a big pleasure. Thanks a lot for your time, and yes, we keep in touch for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.